Hernandez kids for 6 months, so Aurelio and Altagracia could remain by Sylvia's bedside while she was in ICU and rehab. Those kind of stories make me realize why I wanted to be a reporter. Those kinds of stories are life-enhancing, maybe even transforming. The shooting story, however, wasn't one of them, which was why I was having such a hard time finishing it without... Well, I may as well just show you what I'd handed in, and you can decide for yourself. The Grass is Always Greener, for a Reason, by Alex Powell, Standard columnist. Up here in View Park, the neighbors take their property seriously. The streets wind randomly upward from the noise and hustle of Crenshaw Boulevard. On still summer days, if you leave the windows open, you can hear the congas from the drummers assembled in Limert Park a half-mile away. The lawns are uniformly green and wide, the homes large and well-kept. It is a house-proud section of South L.A., full of people who don't joke about the responsibilities of domestic upkeep. Emmeline Andrews is no slacker in that department. Her lawn is the pride of Mount Vernon Drive. Velvet green, her neighbors like to call it. A widowed, retired high school principal, Mrs. Andrews lovingly tends her lawn and garden daily. Joggers huffing up the hill in the early morning wave to her as she pinches back the deadheads on her rose bushes. In the evening, she chats with the neighbors as their automatic sprinklers pop up and hiss moisture where it's needed. The errant piece of trash doesn't stay too long on Mrs. Andrews' sidewalk. Anything out there, once she notices it, that's it. It's gone, says Roscoe Washington, a neighbor for almost 25 years. Emma takes no mess. Apparently, she doesn't like any left on her lawn, either, which is why the normally easygoing community volunteer would get after Robert Maubrey, a new resident, who liked to walk his twin Rottweilers off their leashes, letting them do their business where they might. Most neighbors resented it, but weren't around to catch Maubrey in the act. The few who did and protested say Maubrey just shrugged. That's what dogs do, man. When they gotta go, they go. Maybe it was the timing. Maybe the moon was squared in something assertive like Aries, which makes even mild-mannered people grow fangs and growl. Whatever the reason, Emmeline Andrews had arisen for the third time that week to find twin steaming piles on the strip of grass between the sidewalk and the street. You know, I don't think I even thought twice about it, she told me later. I just saw those piles of, well, you know, and I guess I just snapped. You could say that. What else would possess a 5'3" 110-pound grandmother of 4 to run, in her pink slippers, down the front steps to the lawn, pick up a warm pile of dog feces in her bare, well-manicured hands, yell, "Hey, you forgot something," and then heave that pile of poop at the retreating back of the offender, who, by the way, outweighed her by more than 100 pounds. Temporary insanity, more likely than not. Robert Maubrey, outraged, scraped the poop from the back of his neck. In addition to being a vigilant gardener, Mrs. Andrews pitches during the season with the Senior Baseball League at Christ the Good Shepherd Episcopal Church, screamed something about her mental instability, and left. He returned about a half hour later, having showered, tethered the dogs, and picked up a gun. The neighbors were still rehashing Mrs. Andrews' perfect pitch and taking guesses as to whether this would reform Mr. Maubrey once and for all, when Mr. Maubrey himself appeared, with his firearm. Mr. Washington, a retired pharmacist, described it. Emma was just telling me how she threw the stuff at that boy when here he comes, with a gun. I tried to tell her to hit the deck, but he was quick. Before I got the words out of my mouth good, he just aimed and shot her. In the buttocks. The gun was actually a toy. It belonged to Mr. Maubrey's nephew, who had left it behind on a recent visit. It was not loaded with BBs, but with leftover gravel from an aquarium project. The doctors at Cedars-Sinai, where Mrs. Andrews was rushed, face down, to the emergency room, say her prognosis is excellent. She and Mr. Maubrey were all set to sue each other, he for assault.